Okay, I am now scouting locations. Let's see if this is a good place to film. Hi, I am gonna sit here and talk about stuff, and then watch it later and see how it turns out. Because, alright, how about this? If I'm reaching my hand out, my arm out, as far as I can, super close up. Okay, scout another location. How about this? I wish there was a forward-facing camera on this. Otherwise, I won't be able to see any of this until I go to watch it. I'm using the kitchen light for my light. Even though it's clearly daytime, it probably looks nighttime in the video. Right, okay, let's turn the light on. How does this look? Hey, I'm here to talk about things I like that everyone else hates. I noticed that there is a big popular majority thing where, like, it's very popular to hate something. Like, something I've noticed that when The Dark Knight came out, everyone loved it. It's the greatest Batman movie to ever come out. And everyone was excited for the next one. What's he going to do next? How is he going to top this? And then The Dark Knight Rises came out, and it wasn't all that great. And now because of The Dark Knight Rises not being so good, everyone's like, "Oh, The Dark Knight Rises was The Dark Knight was a terrible movie. Oh, what was Christopher Nolan thinking with that voice? I'm Batman." I can't do the voice, but the voice is pretty much the only thing I didn't like about The Dark Knight Rises. And that one thing's not going to ruin the whole movie for me. And I love the movie. It's my favorite Batman movie ever. Before Dark Knight Rises, everyone was like saying the same thing I just said. Oh, Dark Knight Rises is the best Batman movie ever. And now everyone's saying the Tim Burton movies are, and I'm just kind of laughing at them. And so, another example of things I like that everyone else hates, there's a Mike Myers movie from the 90s. I believe it was 93. So I Married an Axe Murderer. Every time I hear that movie brought up, oh, that movie's garbage. That's the worst movie ever made. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's just hilarious. It was, like every movie I could think of with Mike Myers, it's like a franchise movie, like Wayne's World or Shrek or Austin Powers. I think there's only 2 movies that are Mike Myers that aren't franchise movies, and that I could think of. I mean, he probably has a ton more that I can't think of. And those are So I Married an Axe Murderer and The Love Guru. Oh, The Love Guru. See, I'm talking about movies I like that everyone else hates. Everyone pans the movie Love Guru, and I absolutely have to agree with them. Yeah, that movie wasn't that good. But at least Mike Myers admits that. He said he wants to make it up to the fans, and he's thinking of making a Austin Powers 4. I heard that announced, but I haven't heard anything else since then. That was like 3 years ago, so is he making it? Is he not? I don't know. I actually would like that, because the way that the gold member ended, it's like, okay, okay, spoilers. Okay, no one cares, I don't think. Dr. Evil's not his enemy anymore, and the movie ends with Scott Evil, "I'm gonna get you, Austin Powers!" Whatever he does, I haven't seen it in forever. Anyway, it ends like there's gonna be another one, and then there's nothing. So when he was like, "I'm gonna make a 4th one," I'm like, "Yeah!" And so, speaking of 90s movies everyone hates, well, this one is kind of on the fence. I hear most people bashing it, but then I hear some people. I think it's starting to get a cult following, but up until the last couple of years, everyone hated it. It's The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. It was their rom-com before 50 First Dates. I think every rom-com with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore together as a couple is like the best, because there's Independence Day. That's a rom-com. Wedding Singer and 50 First Dates. They both have Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, and they're both. I love them both, but specifically in this case, The Wedding Singer. Everyone knows it for the rapping grandma, the Ellen something. I can't remember her name, but yeah, everyone knows the movie for that when she's rapping the hip hop, the hip it, the hip it, the hip hop. The rapper's delight at the end. But and then people talk about that movie and they mention the rapping grandma, and I say they were clones, and everyone's like, "What?" I'm like, "That's a line from the movie." Yeah. What about whenever it was like crying the Madonna song, "Celebrate all the days." That was hilarious. Whenever it was like a "Somebody kill me, please." That was if you haven't seen it, it's ignore what everyone else is saying about it and just enjoy it. It is hilarious. One movie that I don't have a number one favorite movie. I have like 3 top spot movies, and this one has been my favorite movie since I first saw it, and I was actually, from 2007 to like 2009, I was obsessed with this movie. I have character analysis on my computer that I typed up. And it was like, I typed up character analysis on all the characters. I bought the book. It was actually... Oh, I had to go get the book. So, like, I have, like, the character analysis on my computer. Well, like, I typed it up. I have the book. I like it so much. It is... And every time I hear it brought up online, it's a crappy movie. The Nostalgia Critic. I am a huge fan of the Nostalgia Critic. He called it garbage. He said, I've got to review that movie. I'm, of course, talking about Bridge of Terabithia, which I got on Blu-ray because I love it that much. Of course, that's not really saying much, because I also got Godzilla 98 on Blu-ray, and I didn't like that movie. It was a double feature. It came with 2012 on it. I got it for 2012. See, I saw Godzilla in the theaters. I liked it as a kid. And then I rewatched it on Blu-ray, and I was like, what is this mess? And I saw, Nostalgia Critic talking about it. I'm like, yeah. And so I got the book of this is a rare instance. You know how it's always old. You watch a movie and it's like, oh, the book was better. No. Well, this is a good book. I mean, it's great. But the story is kind of lacking. Everything that's in this movie, like the whole, like Hogar, like the Scroger, and the all of that, not in the book. Miss Edmonds is in the book, but she has a small part. I mean, the whole museum thing happened at the end, but I don't think it was a museum. Well, I don't remember. It's been a while since I read it, but they changed like a lot of it. It explains like a lot, and so when I mention this next one, actually it's a trilogy. When I mention this to people, they're like, "Oh, don't even start." Oh wait, hang on. when I mention this next one to people, they don't even give it a chance. It's actually a trilogy. I mention this to people, and they're like, "Oh, no, no, don't even tell me about that. I don't even want to hear it." Okay, before I show it, I'm going to show this. Psycho. I am a major fan of Psycho. In fact, I have the book. Unlike Bridge of Terabithia, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's my second favorite horror film. Number one being The Changeling, George C. Scott. So I saw this in the theater, Halloween night, 2008. I went to the Paramount Theater. They had, they do the midnight showings on Halloween, and they were showing Psycho, and I had never seen it, and I was like, okay, well, might as well. And I saw it, and it was totally freaky in theaters. And, they did, that's like Hitchcock did. They didn't let anyone in after the curtains. After the movie started, they didn't let anyone in, and it was like, but like, I knew that famous scene, and so I was like, oh, well, that's already spoiled for me. I know that's going to happen. When you see it in context, I mean, you'd see it coming, obviously, but it's just, when you see it in context, it's really scary in context. If you just go and look up YouTube Psycho shower scene, it's like, oh yeah, this is the iconic scene. The book, even scarier. Let's just say that, this was made in 1960. Well, technically it was made in 1959, but released in 1960. So they had obviously in 1960, they had to cut back on a lot of things. There's a lot of things they couldn't put in that. I mean, if this was made now, it would be blood and guts and gore, and it would be like Saw. I mean, in this book, in this movie, she just gets stabbed a few times. This, you get your head taken off in the shower. And, I don't know which Norman Bates is scary. I can do a whole video series on my thoughts on Psycho. All of that leads to this. The Psycho sequels. Psycho 2, Psycho 3, Psycho 4. I even mention Psycho has a sequel to people, and they're like, no, don't even tell me about it. I don't want to hear about it. La 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 la. And so, no. The people who made these were fans of the original. They knew that they were under a lot of pressure when they were making this. In fact, they had Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates in the original. He was a part of all three of these. In fact, that's him. That's his silhouette. That's him, and he was looking creepy. He was in all of these. 20 years after the original was made, they made Psycho 2, where Norman Bates gets out of the, he's determined to be cured. And I'm not going to give too much away. I'm just going to say that, it's the right way to make a sequel to Psycho. They didn't make a sequel just to make a sequel. They furthered the story. In fact, it's so good. The people who, put this little package together, Psycho 2 is my favorite of the trilogy. Because I consider this a trilogy. I don't consider it quality, or, you know what I mean, a 4-movie set. I consider it Psycho and then the trilogy. Because the only way to really enjoy this is if you don't compare it to Psycho. When I went into Psycho 2, I was like, okay, don't try to pretend Psycho didn't happen. Don't even think about Psycho. Just, Psycho 2 is its own thing. These are its own movies. Because they knew that. Psycho 2 has its own disc. And Psycho 3, and they're good. Yeah, they're good. They're good. But out of the sequels, this is definitely the best one. Because, it's a Psycho sequel. That's the way to do a Psycho sequel. 3 is too different, and 4 at the beginning is, well, kind of... Like, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to make a Psycho series, video series, because I have, as you can tell, I got so much to say about the Psycho series. Okay, last movie I'm gonna cover right now, and then I'll move on to something else. There's a movie that came out a few years ago that, when it came out, everybody loved. I saw it in theaters in 3D, and, I loved it. It was one of the best 3D movies I've ever seen. And when, it came out, everyone was like, oh yeah, this is one of the greatest movies of all time. In fact, it, broke records and all that. And so, but now that it's been out a while, people starting to analyze it, they're like, okay, that movie sucks. But, I still like Avatar. I know this, the story is kind of, okay, Cracked made a joke, and a lot of people made this joke, but I heard it first from Cracked, so I attribute it to Cracked. They had one of those little pictures, the little bubbles. They had a Pocahontas circle and a Ferngully circle, and it met in the middle. And in the middle it said Avatar. And I agree, yeah, that's pretty accurate, actually. But, so, it doesn't have to be, the greatest story of all time. It's... Okay, James Cameron took, I think, he was working on it for, 20 years or so. And he spent most of that time working on, I think it was on Crack, I think it was David Wong or somebody on Crack pointed out that James Cameron spent 20 years working on the setting. Not the story, the setting. He built the world of Pandora from literally the core up, I guess, because he built an entire ecosystem from his mind. That all came from his mind. And so, see, I don't care so much that the story is lacking, as that Crack writer said, because I don't know if it was David Wong. I'm gonna, someone's gonna comment this and be like, "You idiot, it was Gladstone," and so, but yeah, I don't care that the story's lacking, because in sci-fi, the setting is probably the most important thing, and because, well, yeah, you're either gonna get a good setting or I'm just gonna move on. People are gonna be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. As for music, I'm probably gonna get bashed for this, but, there's, One Direction. Let's give that a minute to sink in for everyone to go, oh! I just lost some subscribers. Everyone automatically bashes them because they're a boy band. And at first I was doing that too. I was making fun of them. No Direction! And, but then, I listened to one of them, the song, That's What Makes You Beautiful, that song. I was like, oh, that was pretty good. I think, every band that sticks around a while has at least one good song. In fact, with the Jonas Brothers, I like their song, Love Bug. And, people like different things. I like that song, and everyone watching this probably just groaned. Yes, I love Love Bug. But I'm not talking about Jonas Brothers. I like one or two. Slipping into the lava. Okay, shut up! Anyway. With One Direction, I listened to That's What Makes You Beautiful, and I was like, oh, this song's pretty good. But it's just a one hit. And then I listened to They Don't Know About Us, and The Way You Are, and it was just The Way You Are, and I was like, I listened to another, and then another, and another, and I'm like, okay, I am officially a One Direction fan. I wouldn't go as far to be like, oh, I'm a One Directioner, or whatever they're called. I'm not like fangirling over them, like, One Direction! But, I'm a fan of One Direction, and, I don't know all their songs, and I don't have any of their albums, and, I don't even know their names. I think one of them dated Taylor Swift. I don't even know, like, but, like, I have yet to hear a One Direction song I don't like. So, yeah, people automatically, yeah, and, there was this guy I started watching on YouTube recently. I don't remember his YouTube name. It was something like Undertaker Dude something. I don't remember. But I found him through the Archduke. Archduke. Yes, the Archduke. Archfiend. I've been watching Archfiend a lot lately, and for some reason, well, I eventually figured it out. But there was on a lot of Archfiend's videos. There was this guy like Undertaker something. He was like the related videos throughout most of Archfiend's videos, and I started at the bottom, and I'm working my way up. And I was like, finally I was like, okay, who is this guy? So I started watching some of his videos, and he was talking about music today sucks, and he was saying something like, people just want, the party music, and I was like, I'm not like musically inclined, like I don't like play any music, and like I'm not like a music teacher or anything, but like there is, like, I actually had this argument with someone about dancing. They said like J-pop is not dancing, and like this is not dancing, that's not dancing, that's not dancing, that's not dancing, that's not dancing. Like the only person that really dances is like Beyonce, and I was like, there is no like, I mean, there's like rules to dancing, but there's like this is dancing. I mean, it's not like good dancing. I wouldn't go on America's Got Talent and be like, "Hi, I'm going to be dancing." Oh, they're booing. But I actually looked up the definition of of dancing, and it's so like a music is playing, and you're just, it's like, and someone's like, "Stop, stop, stop! You're not moving your arms weight enough, and you're gotta be move across the room and flay your arms around like Kermit the Frog, yay!" Um, but yeah, there really is no right or wrong when it comes to dancing, unless you're trying to do it professionally. Then yes, or if you're like a wedding or something and you're doing it in front of people, then yeah, yes, there is a right or wrong. But if you're just like, I think you get what I'm trying to say. When it comes to music, I had a choir teacher that says there is no such thing as bad singing. Now that I think about it, he might not have been the best choir teacher, but he said there's no such thing as bad singing. There's, because, anyone can sing. It's just, like, there is no, like, I'm not making this choir teacher sound very good, aren't I? Like, I suck at singing, I know that. But, again, I wouldn't go on America's Got Talent. I'm not going to mimic how that would go, like, with the dancing. But when it comes to music, there's music which is like melodic or whatever, like like do 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 do. That's music. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't put it on the radio, but it has a melody or whatever. Like, that's not music. That's noise. That's its sound. So the way I see it is that One Direction might not be music in the sense of like Frankie Valli or Ella Fitzgerald, but it's music in the sense that there's a beat there and there's like melody and all that stuff. I mean, I would prefer if they're being considered the modern Beatles, and I can kind of see where they're going with that, but I'm still like, really, like, I'm a fan of theirs, and I'm still like Beatles. No, I'm a fan of them. I'm a bigger Beatles fan than I am the One Direction fan, and they don't play their own music. Beatles play their own music, like Ringo on the drums and the guitars and the singing. So they don't play their own music. They just, like, they have someone else do the music, and someone else write the music, and they just go on stage and dance and sing. Apparently my phone has a limit to how long you can film, and that limit, oddly enough, is 24 minutes and 41 seconds. Um, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, One Direction. Oh, they don't write their own music. They don't play music. They have someone else do the music, and the music is done with a computer. But I think it's still music. Because, as I said, it's got a beat and the melody and all that. It's not Mozart or Vivaldi. But, if you keep comparing, I'm sure when the Beatles came out, there was people going, oh, that's not music, that's garbage. And now look, Beatles are the Beatles. The freaking Beatles. Because, yeah. I'm sure, like, 50 years from now, people will look back and say, people will be like, One Direction. They weren't like, no, someone 50 years from now are going to be like, saying pretty much the same thing I'm saying now, like about One Direction as I'm saying about the Beatles. Like, back then people said One Direction was garbage, but now they're One Direction. And, but, yeah. Uh, I guess it's kind of like early 90s rap, and late 80s rap. A lot of people hated it back then, but now, those are great. Everyone likes that. Probably because they know the crap that came along later, but I'm not a big fan of rap. And I always said, I'm not a fan of rap. I don't like rap. But then I started listening to, a Supersonic by JJ Fat. I think it's on my, Spotify playlist thing. The Supersonic. That's Fergie ripped the beat off. Fergie ripped it off to do the Fergalicious thing. But, I listened to that, and I'm like, oh wow, when did this come out? And I was like, I saw the year, I don't remember what it was, and I was like, wow, okay, what else came out back then? What is this? What is this? The House of Pain? What's that? And, and then a Sugar Hill Gang, and I like stuff like that. Old school rap, or, like, you don't quiz me on it, though. I'm not, like, majorly into it. Like, I don't know, like, all the old rappers, like, all that, but, better than, Chris... I can't even say his name. I don't want to. I'll probably, like, clear the table off. Like, yeah! But, yeah. This video was supposed to be about things I liked that people hated. Well, he is not one of them. What else do I like that everyone else hates? What else? Let me see. Let me look around and see. I would say Walmart, but lately they owe me so much money. They owe me at least $150 from separate occasions. And actually, one big, from $100 just from one trip. But I'm not going to get into that. But, yeah. Up until this past summer, I was like, what's wrong with Walmart? But now I'm like, okay, yeah, they're evil. I'm going to walk around and see if I can find anything else. Okay, I have to go here. I can't believe I am going here. I can't believe I have to go here. I'm talking about things that I like that, well, everyone else hates, but I don't think everyone hates these, but I've been hearing so much hate for these lately, and it really annoys me. The Zelda series. Up until a few years ago, it's like, Zelda! Freaking Zelda! Zelda's awesome! And I actually didn't get into Zelda until 2009, when I played a little game called Wind Waker. And this is considered everyone's least favorite game of the Zelda series. It's what got me into the series. I love this game. All the sailing, and I'm gonna ruin it by doing this. And, I loved all the sailing. The sailing is what turned everyone off. And, in fact, my favorite Zelda character ever is in this game. Medley. I love Medley. And when you first meet her, I was like, oh, she's adorable! And then, yeah, and then you play a level with her later. You switch back and forth between playing as her and playing as Link. And I was like, yay, I'm Medley! And, so this led me to play the top-down games. And I think, okay, well, I'll get back to that. And then I bought a Wii, just for this. Well, I was gonna get it on the GameCube, but I could never find it on the GameCube, and then I found a Wii for $30. And I was like, oh, well, then I'll just get that. And then I bought this. And then I was like, yay! And then the next day, Play and Trade, which is the game store I always go to. I know, I went there like once a week, seeing like, you have Twilight Princess on GameCube? No, we don't. Oh, okay. And then 2 days after I bought the Wii and bought this, I went in there. I'm like, oh yeah, we have it. We have it. I'm like, I just bought a Wii and the Wii version of Twilight Princess, and they're like, oh, dude, that is wrong. So, but it's, from what I hear, the graphics is better on this, which I can imagine, higher thing. But, the only thing I don't like about this is that I think Nintendo's kind of lazy when it comes to this game. You know, they took too long to make it. It was going to be a GameCube game, but, you know, it took too long to make. So, by the time it got to be released, it was going on the Wii, but they went ahead and put it on that GameCube, just for those fans that had been waiting. But since it'll be using the Wiimote, and Link is left-handed, instead of just changing a few lines of code to flipping Link around, they flipped the whole map around, so when you're looking at a walkthrough that says GameCube, when it says go left, you have to go right. It's really annoying. And so, and I wouldn't really notice so much. It's just that in the game on the map, the west areas are in the east. It's like the west is like, wait, why does it say west over there? And that's east. I don't understand. And so, but I actually had an idea. I'm dyslexic, if anyone hasn't noticed, and I was thinking of, you know, GameCube games are compatible on the Wii, and since they're flipped, you know, I am used to this map, and it would be a challenge for me to get used to a new version of the map. And so I was thinking of just getting the GameCube version anyway, since I'm used to this map, and it's flipped. So, like, I would, like, go, so I've been playing this for over a year now. No, I haven't had the Wii a year. I haven't had the Wii a year. Holy crap. But, yeah, I can get the GameCube version to be a challenge for me because I'm used to this one. And everyone says that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess sucked. And when I went to go get Skyward Sword, a lot of people were like, oh, don't get that game, don't get that game, you do not want to get that game. And I was like, what, why? Like, that game sucks, that's the worst game in the series. And I was like, I just want to try it. Like, oh, you can try it, but you'll give up after half an hour. That game sucks. And so I was like, okay, so this is the most I've ever paid for a video game. $50. I paid $50 for this. And I was like, it better not suck. No, it does not. Okay, if they the person that told me that, they said that I would give up on it after half an hour. If they did that, if they gave up after half an hour, I understand that, because the first half hour is just cutscenes. It's like you walk around a little bit, walk here, walk to that place over there. You get there, there's a long cutscene, and then you get to the goddess statue, and then there's this long cutscene. I set the Wiimote down. It was that long. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and wait, and it was really long. I looked at the clock, and like an hour had gone by, and I'm like, oh. But then after it gets through, once it sets up the story, then those are really limited. Pretty much the only thing I didn't like about that game is, I don't know if you pronounce it Fee or Fi, but I actually, I have a Zelda Facebook page, Skyward Ocarina, and I actually did a public apology to Navi. Because I always made fun of her. I was always like, oh, hey, listen, you're stupid. And, so then, well, the thing with her is that when she's annoying because, hey, listen, hey, listen, hey, listen, throughout the game. But you have a choice. When she does that, you can press that button, and she talks. Otherwise, she just goes, hey, listen, hey, listen, hey, listen, hey, listen. You can ignore her. With Fee, or Fi, whichever one, I'm just going to say Fee, just whatever. With her, you'll be walking, she comes out of the sword, Master, that Kikwi, when at the Faron Woods, Master, the essence of Zelda is on this creature. There is an 80% chance that this creature might be Zelda. And I was like, okay. And then it's like you walk on, and like 5 or 10 minutes later, Master, I have concluded with absolute certainty that creature we passed earlier was 100% not Zelda. It's like that throughout the whole game. It is constantly... She is constantly doing that. But, like the other one, like, I was saying with Batman's voice in The Dark Knight, Fee didn't ruin the game. I mean, it's annoying, but I loved it. If I had to choose my favorite Legend of Zelda game out of these three, it would most definitely have to be A Link to the Past. Because I can't choose. Asking me to choose my favorite Zelda game is like asking me to choose my favorite shade of black. It's like, I don't know, there's a long scale there. I like them all. You got like grayish black, dark gray, light gray. Gray isn't black. When does gray turn into black? Because, there's a scale, and it's like, the little palette or whatever. It's like gray, light gray, dark gray, darker gray. No, is that light black or dark gray? I don't know. But I digress. Terabithia is my favorite movie.